Hey guys, welcome to Motoroids.com. My name is Amit and right behind me I have the Audi RS5, which is the most powerful of the brat pack. I did a very detailed review of the Audi A5, which is the 4-door and the least powerful of the 3 cars. There's the S5 and then you have this, the RS5, which is the most powerful of the 3 cars. Now the RS5 is powered by a 2.9 litre twin turbo V6 petrol engine, and the power output here is 450 PS and 600 Newton meters of torque, which translate into a 0 to 100 sprint of 3.9 seconds. That's about 4 seconds. But the funny thing is that with its 160 mm of ground clearance, while you're driving in the comfort mode, it's hard to tell whether you're driving a sports car. There is some bit of road noise coming in. There is a bit of wind noise above 120 kilometers per hour coming in. However, you can drive this car over the worst of the potholes and you can really use this car as your everyday car. But is that really what you bought this car for? If you bought this car, I'm pretty sure that you wanted to drive it the way it's meant to be driven. And the way it's meant to be driven is only and only in dynamic mode. And once you turn it into dynamic mode, this car turns into a different monster altogether. The steering stiffens up, the suspension dampers stiffen up, even the exhaust note and the engine sound in the cabin is a far cry from what you have been used to in the comfort mode. You almost think as though you're driving a jet engine. And the grip from those 4 wheels, oh my god, with that quattro work, it's absolutely amazing. This car can really hold its line. There is simply no drama. There is just tons and tons of grip from that quattro work, and you really have to be a decent driver to make those 4 tires squeal. It's absolutely amazing, the amount of grip and the kind of poise that this car has. Although I really think that the steering probably could have been a little bit more true. It's a little artificial, although the weight is just fine. But I think the steering could probably have done with a little more feedback. So if you compare it with the M4, which actually is probably the benchmark in this segment, that car has that fine balance which lets the tail spin out that slight bit and then allows you to bring it in without any drama, and that really adds to the fun element of it. But when it comes to that clinical quality of eating corners without making any fuss about it, this car is also right there. There's absolutely no drama whatsoever. You can take it around corners at a really crazy speed without being scared. Let's just listen to that soundtrack for some time. Oh my god, this car really can go around corners without any hint of melodrama. Amazing. Even the 8-speed automatic transmission is very quick, and the response at the pedals is almost instantaneous. It's a dual clutch transmission, and this engine transmission combo is absolutely thrillsome. You can just tell that by looking at the smile on my face. The RS5 does hold its own when it comes to the sheer composure that it has, the kind of grip that it provides you. The quattro works really makes it a very dependable set of 4 wheels. So while the M4 has just that fine connect that makes driving a car all that much more interesting for a driver, and the C63 AMG S has all that much more drama without all that much speed around corners, this car I think is a lot more clinical, if I can really put it that way. It just goes about its job without making any fuss about it. I think it's brilliant. And it makes its presence felt the moment you look at it. The creases on the bonnet are very pronounced, and there is a very liberal splattering of black color to let everyone know that this is a proper sports car. And you also have these fins which make it look properly sporty. The headlights have been given a smoked out treatment, and so have been the tail lamps. The grille at the center, as I mentioned before, is very big. It gets this beautiful RS5 lettering, and when you look at it from the front, it definitely looks very imposing. The headlamps here are all LED matrix headlamps, very smart, very intelligent, and they actually adjust themselves based on light coming from the opposite direction and prevent glare to a large extent. These creases on the bonnet are way more pronounced and let everyone know that this car is indeed special. Let's move on to the side where things get even more interesting, and what you'll observe first are these beautiful 20-inch alloy wheels, which by the way are optional. These are not standard fitment. You get 19 inches as standard, but the low profile tires look absolutely smashing on those 20 inches. They are shot with 275 section 30 profile tires with Pirellis up front and Continental at the rear. We don't think that's the standard combination. I think this test car has those two different tires. Anyway, the signature wave shoulder line of the car is definitely there, although it's a little more pronounced, and it looks beautiful as always. You have the RS5 lettering here, a contrasting black colored mirror with these trafficators on them, and to distinguish the car further, you have this piano black applique over the door sill. But the good thing here is that the ground clearance here is a very generous 160 mm, which makes it very usable over bad roads, and it goes over even more vicious speed breakers without any problem whatsoever. And in that context, if you compare it with other sports car, this one definitely has an advantage. As you can see, you also have a sun/moon roof here, and that shark fin antenna also looks quite nice. I quite like this car in this beautiful red color, and it's been making people turn their heads wherever we have been going. Coming to the rear, as I mentioned before, the tail lamps also get this smoked out treatment, and you have this fin treatment given here as well as it was at the front. You have this very beautiful spoiler lip on the boot deck to give it that sporty look. Also, if you look here at the back, you'll see these twin exhausts which are massive in size, oval shaped, and they look absolutely intimidating. So if someone is trying to follow you, you would instantly come to know that it's a performance oriented car and not to try too hard. You also get this very beautifully done diffuser in piano black, and it adds to the muscular, very sporty character of the car. These LED lights by themselves, they look smashing, and this car catches attention from a distance if someone is following you. Let's open the boot, and inside you have a ton of space. You have 465 liters of space, which makes this car very usable for going out with family as well, for a small to medium holiday. And you have a spare as well, although this is not a full-sized unit, this is a space saver, but that aids liberating more space here, and that's always useful. Now it's time to get inside, but before we do that, you'd also do well to see these blinkers which swipe out, and this is a signature Audi trick. We have seen it on a lot of other cars also, and it looks absolutely amazing. This is the key for the car, and it gets controls for lock, unlock and boot release, and I'm going to get right inside the car now. You can see that beautiful piano black applique while entering the car as well, and there's this sporty RS5 lettering here. And this part of the seat is something that you'd do well to pay attention to before we get there. You have a dedicated button for massage, and you have lumbar support, but this button here would let you control the seat through the screen there with just a touch, and I'm going to show you how that happens. You'd also do well to have a look at these beautiful steel pedals before we get in, and they are covered in rubber for grip, but they look beautiful and they add to the sporty appeal of the car. The moment you get inside, you're treated by opulence, luxury and richness of materials. And to start off, you do well to have a look at these beautifully crafted seats. This is Napa leather, and in the middle you have Alcantara quilted, and you also have these manually extended support for your thigh, so this is beautifully done. Also, as I mentioned before, the seat has a massage function, and let me show you how it works. So you can control the massage functions by pressing the button that I showed you, and then you can choose from a variety of 3 massages. What is also amazing is that you can control your lumbar support using the buttons on the lumbar control dial, and you can also control the bolstering using the same buttons fore and aft. So it's really a beautiful system, and it works very well. Massages you as you indulge yourself for driving a car very fast, and immerses you in luxury while you drive a sports car. Now you get this very beautifully crafted leather wrapped flat bottom steering wheel with RS branding with a ton of controls, and all of it is very intuitive. It has the very familiar Audi virtual cockpit, but it has a few different elements. If you look closely here, it also has a G sensor which shows you the number of Gs that are working on you at any given point in time. Obviously you can change the view and bring navigation to 4, so that obviously is always the option, but as I mentioned before, you have the option to see the Gs as well. Speaker, the audio system here is a Bang & Olufsen unit with over 700 watt of output, 19 speakers, so obviously it sounds very nicely. Now as you would expect, the trim levels, the quality of the materials and everything is fantastic, and the trims here, the inlays are done in this specific model in aluminum anthracite, but you can also have it ordered in carbon or only aluminum or in piano black as well. So you have a lot of options. Ditto for the seat leather as well. If you want to change it, there are 3 or 4 options to choose from. So it's entirely up to you how you want to customize your Audi RS5, and that's always a great thing to have. And the RS5 is not just out and out sporty, it's also quite practical. If you look at the door panels, you have space for a full 1 liter bottle and then some space to spare. You have this very cavernous compartment here where you can put a cell phone or a wallet, and you have 2 cup holders and a reasonably sized glove compartment as well. I also quite like the way the air vents have been laid out in a very horizontal manner. I quite like them. And overall, you get a very involving feeling. The moment you get inside this cabin, you realize that you are wrapped around in luxury as well as stuff which is oriented towards the driver. You also have this sun/moon roof, and although it's not panoramic, obviously it's a sports car, so it's difficult, and it doesn't even open all the way back, but it's always good to have a sun or a moon roof. And this is the only distance it will go behind, but it will still let a lot of fresh air come in. In terms of power outlets, you get this 12 volt power outlet here with a cigarette lighter. You have a USB socket here. You also have a 12 volt power outlet here and another USB outlet here with an aux in. You can put the car's key here very safely. You get a 2-way memory function for the seats, only on the driver's side though. You get ambient lighting. You have this armrest as well, which is adjustable, so that's another good thing. And obviously you get all the safety in the world. You get ABS with traction control, electronic stability program. You get 6 airbags. So safety is obviously not a problem on Audis. This is the top of the line models. However, a lot of people would want to tell you that this looks somewhat similar to the A5. Yes, it does, but still when you sit inside, you realize that this is so much richer. There are so many more functions and it makes you feel so much more special. When you sit behind the wheel, you do realize that you're driving a sporty car. And it's not just that, it's the way this car sounds, it's the way this car drives, which is extremely involving and is very, very special indeed. Another important thing that you notice is that the doors are absolutely frameless and they look rather smashing when you look at the car from the outside and when the doors are opened. An important thing that you'll notice is that these headrests are not adjustable, although they provide enough support, and for a person of any size there is not going to be any dearth of room. Now, while the seat belt height is adjustable on sports cars like these, because the seats have so much bolstering, oftentimes you are not able to reach out to the seat belt, and that's where the Audi RS5 has a party trick up its sleeves. So the moment you turn the car on and shut the door, there is a slider which brings the seat belt to your hand, and it becomes very easy for you to grab the seat belt and put it on. You also have the MMI system here, and the gear selector is wrapped in beautiful leather with these dimples, so it feels very nice to hold. You have these buttons which you can assign to a lot of things, and it's very intuitive. You can also use this touchpad to enter characters and they would be recognized, and it makes life a little easier than having to scroll to all the letters. You have a little space here to put whatever you want to put in there, and you obviously get goodies like automatic headlamps, auto wipers, as well as this button to level the headlamps. You have this rear fog lamp, and this button here can be pressed, and if you're driving in rainy conditions, the front headlamp washers will come out and clean the headlamps periodically. Also, this being a proper sports car, you get goodies like auto dimming inner RVMs, you get heated outer RVMs which are folding as well, and obviously power adjustable. So it's a very, very rich experience to be sitting here. You have some very rich material enveloping you, Alcantara, Nepal leather, and wherever you put your hands on, you'd realize that the materials, the workmanship and everything else is typical Audi and the best of the best. So a very special place to be, and I really am impressed with what I see here. Now, while the A5 is a 4-door coupe, this is a 2-door coupe, and that makes the space at the rear come at a premium. However, there is some space, and I'm just going to show you how to get inside and get out, how easy it is and how much space do you have at the back. So to get inside, you can either move the seat forward like this using these buttons and then bring it down so that there is space to get in, and then you can get inside. It's not the easiest of the entries, you really have to stoop, but you can get in eventually. And once you bring the seat back, you can also bring it aft using these buttons. Now, as I see, the knee room here is not bad at all. As you can see, there is some space to spare and I feel quite comfortable. The under-thigh support on the seats is also pretty good. So it's surprisingly good in terms of legroom for a two-door coupe. And this is also a 3-zone climate control. So I get my own pair of AC vents also and temperature control. So that's another good thing. I get a 12-volt power socket and I get a small armrest as well. So all of these things are really good. I get a pair of reading lights. I get these two rubberized trays in the middle which can be used to put a cell phone or a wallet or whatever. And when I bring this armrest down, I have two cup holders as well. Not just that, you have space to spare here as well in which you can put your wallet or a cell phone. And if you want to access the boot, you can do that by bringing this central panel down completely. So you can either lock it or unlock it, and if you have it locked, then you won't be able to access it, but right now it's unlocked. Headroom is a bit of an issue. I think for my height it's just about okay. My head is brushing with the roof. I am 5'10", but for someone who is 5'11", 5'12", that is 6 feet, is going to find it a little bit bothersome, but for shorter people it's going to be fine. I think this seat can be used for medium journeys. Very long journeys may be a bit of a problem, but I think the space here is surprisingly good for a two-door coupe. Also, this quarter window here lets a lot of light in, and that really helps affairs when it comes to comfort and airiness. To round things off, you also have this little cup holder here which can be used to put a small bottle or a cup of coffee. So overall, not a bad place at all to be for a two-door coupe, and especially for a car which is so sporty as the RS5. Now let's see how easy or uncomfortable it is to get out. And although you have to bend a little, it's not all that difficult. So quite a neatly packaged car for a two-door coupe, and to get inside, get out is reasonably comfortable, and you have a decent amount of space as well. The Audi RS5 retails for 1.1 crore ex-showroom, and its closest competitors, the BMW M4 and the Mercedes C63 AMG S, both retail for 1.3 crore ex-showroom. So that makes it a difference of 20 lakh rupees ex-showroom and about 25 to 30 lakh rupees on the road. Now, this is not the most powerful car of the lot, and it definitely is not as fine a sports car as the M4. It's not as powerful as the C63, which by the way is the most powerful of the lot. However, what it is a blend of sports car performance, everyday usage, comfort, and a ton of kit inside. Audi by themselves say when they sell the RS5 that it's not always about the speed, it's about the right balance, and this car does have the right balance. It can be used as your everyday car. Looking at the ground clearance, the kind of suspension it has, and it is quite the looker. So if you're out for an out-and-out sports car, probably the M4 would make a lot more sense for you. But for everything else, the RS5 does stand out as a car which is just the perfect package. I really hope that this video was of some use to you, that I was able to let you know everything that you needed to know about this wonderful car. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to Motoroids, hit that bell icon, and until next time then, this is Amit Changani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and drive safe.